Next up, Gage Schlegel, Republican candidate for County Commissioner, District 3.
Hello, everyone, and I'd like to thank everybody that put this event on tonight, especially during this challenging and historic time that we're having. My name's Gage Schlegel. I'm a Republican candidate for County Commissioner, District 3, and here's some things that I'd like to go over with everybody. A little bit about myself. I'm 25 years old. I played many roles in that time. Most recently, I've worked as a realtor, though I put my license in an active status to pursue my passion in improving the community where my family and I call home. I'm married to my beautiful wife, Jessica, and this September marks 5 years together with the most supportive woman I could ever imagine. I have 4 wonderful children, Paisley, Callie, Jalen, and Dallas. Like many of you, I'm an avid outdoorsman that enjoys taking advantages of the beautiful wildlife in our area. That includes hunting, fishing, and participating in some of the many festivals the community offers throughout the years. When I'm not working or spending time with my family, I'd like to give back to those less fortunate than myself. I often work with friends, along with many other volunteers, providing food to families that may have found themselves falling on hard times. My biggest passion is combining my love of family and giving back. I have had the pleasure of coaching several youth baseball teams out at Para over the past 4 years. And enough about myself, let's get to some things I'd like to address. Flood mitigation and infrastructure, that's a big one. Our roads are becoming overcrowded, so are our wonderful schools. It seems somewhere is flooding every time we turn around. I have solutions though. For our infrastructure, I will work with state and federal legislators, as well as FDOT and our local transportation planning organization, to make sure that we get our infrastructure back on track. I will account for all funding, whether it comes from impact fees, lost gas, or property taxes, and I will try my hardest to secure every grant that's possible in order to save taxpayers money. We must become less reliant on our property tax dollars and focus more on impact fees and appropriate levels of taxation, and increased revenue from our tourism to create more jobs and allow for funding our great infrastructure. When I see a drainage issue, I will no longer kick the can down the road. As we have seen with our current administration, I'm going to get out there, rain, snow, sleet, or shine, and try my hardest with other county officials to get solutions drawn up to get these issues fixed as soon as possible. It doesn't matter where these issues are. I will work with any commissioner and make sure every part of our county gets what they deserve. For public safety, I always intend to give Sheriff Johnson, or any sheriff, whatever it takes to keep our county as safe as it can possibly be. While we have not had any widespread issues with our police force, I am a firm advocate for supporting our police officers and believe that the answer is never decreased funding, but rather increased training and maintaining accountability for our officers patrolling our streets. For economic development, we have an abundance of resources available to us to enhance our growth in the coming decades. We have access to large interstate systems, I-10, I-65, and I-75, as well as an exceptional railway system. We have remarkable fiber optic networking throughout our county. The stage is set for many growing types of industries, including the technology sector. We must begin to work with our schools to provide a skilled workforce for these companies to select top talent from as well. To that end, I will work with the school board to get a technical school on the southern end of the county while we have an exceptional education system, including access to higher education at PSC and UWF. The truth is that college is not the path for all of the youth in our county. I attended Laughlin Technical Institute to obtain an electrical degree, and while I do not use that in my day-to-day work, I have many friends that make their living through HVAC and electrical industries. I envision a system that provides their children an exceptional education, offers different paths to make a living as an adult, and an abundance of professions for those skilled and educated workers for tomorrow to make their way into the world. To that end, I will give tax breaks incentives to any industry to help offset the cost to come into our wonderful county. For trash, if elected, I will start working now to try to figure out a solution to our trash issue. I've given multiple ideas online and don't have the time to quite touch everything I'd like to on that. But we have 5 years now to start to try to figure out a trash solution to put more service back in for our hard-earned dollars. And I have a couple other things I want to go over. I had to type the topics in here. Growth management. We're definitely growing. We know that that's going to happen, and we want to be growing, because if we don't grow, we're dying. And my thing with growth management is if I'm your commissioner, I'm going to make sure that everything is put into place. I'm going to have a 2, 5, 10 year, maybe a 30-year plan, because right now all we have is a 30-minute plan, and they're not worried about what's happening 10 years from now. They're worried about what's going to happen in 30 minutes, and they're not looking into the future. So I'm going to make sure that I do whatever's best, whatever makes sure our infrastructure is in place, our drainage is in place, so when the growth does happen, we're not looking at our roads and wondering why they're overcrowded, looking at our schools and wondering why they're overcrowded. I want the system to be in place for multiple years into the future, so we don't have to worry about that problem. The environment, and like you mentioned, Britton, talking about Pond Creek and everything. Right now, the state handles anything to do with the septic tank. That's a statewide system, but I would like the county to look into that, because I've known many people, when their leach lines went bad, all they did was they ran the pipe right into the river, and that's why we have the problem with Pond Creek. That's why it's so polluted, because I'm not saying a septic tank isn't an answer. No, some people are going to have septic tanks for where that they live, but in town, where we can put where they can get on the Milton water system or the Pace water system, they need to, because their older systems is what's polluting our waterways, and we need to put an end to that. On outsourcing, in the last debate, I heard that if there was a budget issue, we would outsource jobs or look into laying people off and everything. And like I told my competitor that day, it's easy to sit there and say, hey, I'll outsource a job when you already have 2 full-time pensions, when your insurance is guaranteed no matter whether you leave tomorrow or not, and when you have a 401k. These workers, when you outsource, you're not getting the best of the best that we currently have. You're getting somebody that we're going to pay minimum wage to, and they're not taking that job. They don't love that job. That's just another job for them. They can go out tomorrow and find another job that pays minimum wage. That's why we have to keep our county workers paid good. We have to continue to make sure they have a pension, health care, and 401k, and take care of them, because that's our workforce. Those are our brothers and sisters, and there's no reason that we should outsource. We should always look for a different way in the budget to take care of our people. And last but not least is, if I'm elected, and I've been the only one that said this, I'm not doing this for the money. I intend to donate half of my first year's salary to different parks, charities, and recreations throughout this wonderful county, because that's what I want to do. I want to help as much as I can. Is there any questions?
Do we have any questions from the floor? All right, well then I've got a few. These were submitted by those in attendance earlier. What is your opinion of the new garbage collection plan?
I think I answered that in the speech, but I don't agree with it. But we're stuck in it for the next 5 years, so let's start to look for solutions. We have 5 years to look for a solution. Let's not wait till we have 6 months left. So if I get in, I'm going to start on day one looking for a solution, not waiting till, hey, they informed us we got 3 months left and they're not going to be our partner no more. No, I'm going to make sure that we have our next trash solution, whether it's through in-house or whether we end up choosing another company to do it. I'm going to have that figured out within my first year.
Okay, can you give some examples and elaborate on them of things that you have already done for the citizens of Santa Rosa County?
I have coached youth sports on multiple occasions, football or flag football. I've helped with basketball. I donate my time up at my kids' schools, at their private schools. I've helped with food raising friends to ensure that people that might not have had food here recently, and so that they could have food. And I've helped to take care of just doing stuff like that, volunteering.
What, if any, changes need to be made to the animal services program in Santa Rosa County?
Well, I do believe that there is some changes that need to be made, and I don't know what their funding is as of yet, but I would like to see a spay and neuter shelter, or at least a low-cost one, and I believe that there should be one down on the south end of the county too, because having a hub up here in Milton, if somebody does make a call and says, hey, there's a stray dog out on the road down on Highway 98, by the time that officer gets down there and gets a chance to catch that dog, it may have already been hit. You don't know what's going to happen to it. So if we have another sector down there on the south end of the county, we could get to it and process these calls faster.
What is your position on tax increases?
I always believe that we should leave a tax increase up to the people. For millage rates, I would not like to see a millage rate increase unless it was absolutely needed. I do believe we have a spending problem, and I would like to look into the budget and get the spending issues figured out. And if I'm elected, I would definitely like to have an audit as soon as I get in to see where our money has been going and see what has been happening to it. But if it's a tax increase, I'd rather see a local option sales tax, because at least with a local option sales tax, it is not coming out of all our homeowners' pockets. Our tourism is going to help take care of the funding issues.
And if the voters did not approve a tax increase, what would you do to deal with a budget shortfall?
Well, everyone's just going to have to tighten their belt then. You know, the sheriff might lose funding. The tax collectors, you know, they're going to lose some funding. Everyone's going to lose some funding then, because right now our main focus should be getting back to infrastructure. So it's going to be, just going to have to cut services. So I would hope that they would approve it, but if it doesn't happen, we're going to have to look into cutting services.
All right, this question was asked earlier, but it's appropriate to ask again. We are a diversified county in Santa Rosa County. Jay is different than Navarro, which is different than Gulf Breeze, which is different than Milton. What are your plans to deal with each district as being equally important to the county?
I don't care where you live in the county, whether you live in Jay, Gulf Breeze, Navarre, Milton, Pace. If you call me and you have a problem and you can't get a hold of your commissioner for some reason, or they're not taking care of it, trust me, I'm going to put it under my workload. I'm going to reach out to you. I'm going to go meet with you, see what the problem is, and try to figure out a solution, and work with the commissioner in those districts also that isn't mine, and see why they're not taking care of it, and just try to take care of the problem as soon as possible and swiftly.
What projects would you like to see funded by Triumph Gulf Coast with the Restore Act money?
Restore Act money, I would like to see that stay in the south end of the county, because they were the ones that was affected by the oil spill. I believe Navarre Beach, Gulf Breeze should be able to use that money. I know countywide we could use some of it, but just projects like, I know they're going to need a bridge here in Navarre here soon. I'd like to see maybe some of that money go to funding that. There's a lot of things down on the south end of the county that needs done. I guess maybe we could work with the state on Highway 98, getting it widened from Midway to the county line, Okaloosa County line, so it can finally be 3-laned.
What, if anything, does Santa Rosa County need to do to protect the military mission of Whiting Field?
Can you repeat that?
What, if anything, does Santa Rosa County need to do to protect the military mission of Whiting Field?
We just have to continue to work with the Navy. If they ask us for something, we got to give it to them. If those are important jobs for our county, and those are tax-paying citizens also. So if Whiting Field comes to us and asks and says they need a buffer, we need to do whatever we can to give it to them.
Okay, very good. You've got a few more seconds if you want to wrap it up, and then we'll bring our event to a conclusion.
Those were just a few of the issues, and I mean, I answered a lot of questions, and I know I probably could have answered them a lot better, but sometimes you don't know all the answers, and not everyone does. And the only person who knows all the answers is God. So we leave it up to him. But if you do like what I say and you do like what I stand for, please consider me next Tuesday, August 18th, and please give me your vote.
Okay, Gage Schlegel, Republican candidate for County Commissioner, District 3.